Alright, so you're having the worst day of your life. Your dog died, your favorite game console broke down, you crashed your car, and your pencil broke in English class. What can be worse than that? But as you're walking in the hall, someone says, "Hey, I like your shirt." You go, "Thanks." That makes the world a better place. So in order to relate to this, I'd like to refer to a quote by Mark Twain, the greatest man to ever live, which says, "I could live for 3 months on a good compliment." And I think this relates to a lot of things in life. I'd like to talk about 3 specific things. The first thing I'd like to talk about is work and how a compliment can take you really, really far in the workplace. And next I'd like to talk about school. And finally I'd like to finish off with politics, in honor of Election Day. So my first topic I'd like to talk about is work. So you're sitting at a desk job in a cubicle and you're typing numbers all day, and where does that really take you? You really have gone nowhere. You've not really advanced. But then someone comes up to you and says, "Thanks a lot. I really enjoy the work that you're doing, and I really appreciate you." And so what does that do to you? You're all of a sudden motivated and say, well, if that man could realize what I've done, then maybe someone else can, and maybe I can make a difference in someone else's life, even though I'm just working in a small cubicle. And the next point I'd like to talk about is school. So you get you're in honors, you get A's, you ace all your APs in high school, and what do you have? Good transcript, right? I mean, what else does that really get you? But when you come home and someone realizes what you've done, and they go, "Wow, you've really accomplished a lot. You're really going to go far." And even though you're kind of aware of that in the back of your mind, that compliment just kind of motivates you to go forward, to keep doing what you do and do it better, And then my next point I'd like to talk about is politics. One of the things I've noticed with this election is that everyone's throwing ideas back and forth and saying, this is what we think and this is what they think, and it's really 2 different poles. But I think one of the things we're really neglecting is the fact that we can bring those 2 ideas together and form something. So in other words, we complement each other's positive and negative sides and make something work, something different, something that's going to make a difference for once. So now that you've kind of gotten a good idea of what Mark Twain was trying to say, that a good compliment can take you really far, I hope that next time you see that sad and depressed kid in the halls or at work or in school or maybe, in politics if you're into that, I hope that you give him a good compliment and hope that he goes far as well. Thank you.
All right, Martin, I thought the visualization you had in the intro was pretty good. Your point of view is solid. There's a layout of the structure. That's very clear. I thought the first point that you had was it's a little abstract, but it illustrates the point that you're trying to make. I'm not sure that the other 2 are as clear as they ought to be, but you've got a structure that helps a lot, and you do find things to talk about while you're going through all of those points. Your voice, you project very well. There's very good variety in the voice. Everything's flowing together smoothly while you're speaking. You've got a few indicators and facial expressions. I did notice when you were talking to the audience that your eye contact, you tend to look in 2 directions, over here and over here. Once in a while you drift by the center, but you really seem to be focused on the 2 sides of the room. and I think it might be helpful if you did more variety in the way you interacted with the audience, sort of like the thing we were talking about. I don't know that you want to scan the audience, but try and talk to a few people at a time instead of just one direction or the other at a time, because I thought that was a little distracting. Not terrible, but just a little bit distracting. The other thing that was a little bit distracting was the paper in your hand, which I know you put a few notes on, but occasionally you'd kind of flick it or it's waving around a little bit. Other than that, I didn't see any big problems in the presentation. Those are the two things, and they're minor quibbles. All right, thank you. Thank you all.